What's up, everybody? It's your boy Bryce here. Happy Wednesday. Happy early Thanksgiving to y'all. Hope you all enjoy your Thanksgiving tomorrow with your family and friends. And with that said, on today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys and gals my thoughts on the Miami Hurricanes versus Louisville game that happened this past Saturday on November 18th. 12 p.m. kickoff on ABC. The Miami Hurricanes did fall to the Louisville Cardinals. Top 10 Louisville Cardinals team, by the way, who are now going to be competing in the ACC Championship against Florida State. So congratulations to the Louisville Cardinals. Unfortunately, for some of you that may or may not know, that was the first time that the Louisville Cardinals beat the Miami Hurricanes at home. So that definitely stings. The final score was 38-31. Louisville gets the dub over the Miami Hurricanes. Louisville improves to 10-1 overall and 7-1 in ACC play. The Miami Hurricanes are now currently sitting at 6-5 and 2-5 in ACC play. So there's that. I do have some notes here. I have some team stats here and some individual stats here that I would like to go through with you guys and gals real quick. So I'm going to go through them and I'm going to talk a little bit about the game, and that'll be it. Get into it. First downs for Miami, 21. Third down efficiency, 6 of 14. Fourth down efficiency, 1 of 2. Total yards, 486. Passing, 327. Yards per pass, 8.4. Interceptions thrown, 0. Rushing, 159. Rushing attempts, 26. Yards per rush, 6.1. Penalties, 5 of 50. No turnovers, no fumbles lost, no interceptions thrown. Time of possession for the Miami Hurricanes, 29 minutes and 39 seconds. For the Louisville Cardinals, 26 first downs, 5 of 12 on third down efficiency, 1 of 1 on fourth down efficiency. Total yards, 470. Passing, 308. Yards per pass, 8.3. 1 interception thrown. Rushing, 162. Rushing attempts, 34. Yards per rush, 4.8. Penalties, 4 of 50. 1 turnover, 1 interception thrown. Time of possession for the Louisville Cardinals, 30 minutes and 21 seconds. Moving on to individual stats. Gonna start off with the Miami Hurricanes. Tyler Van Dyke, 24, 39, 327 yards, 8.4 average, 1 touchdown. His QBR was 79.1. Rushing for the Miami Hurricanes, Mark Fletcher led the way, 17 carries for 126 yards, 7.4 average, 2 touchdowns, his long 54. Mark Fletcher continuing to get it done, and I love what I'm seeing out of him. Shard Smith, 2 carries for 34 yards, 17 point average, 1 touchdown, the long was 34. Donald Channing Jr., 4 carries for 3 yards, 0.8 average, no touchdown, his long was 5. Henry Ferris Jr., 1 carry for -1 yard and -1.0 average, no touchdowns, and his long was nothing. Tyler Van Dyke, 2 carries for -3 yards, -1.5 average, no touchdowns, his long was 7. As a team, 26 carries for 159 yards, 6.1 average, 3 touchdowns, and the long was 54. Receiving for Miami, Xavier Restrepo led the way, 8 receptions for 193 yards, 24.1 average, 1 touchdown, his long was 48. Jacoby George, 3 receptions, 55 yards, 18.3 average, no touchdown, his long was 43. Colby Young, 6 receptions for 30 yards, 5.0 average, no touchdowns, his long was 10. Mark Fletcher Jr., 1 reception for 25 yards, 25 point average, 0 touchdown, his long was 25. Shard Smith, 3 receptions for 17 yards, 5.7 average, 0 touchdowns, his long was 11. Henry Ferris Jr., 2 receptions for 4 yards, 2.0 average, no touchdowns, his long was 3. Donald Channing Jr., 1 reception for 3 yards, 3.0 average, 0 touchdowns, his long was 3. As a team, for Miami, 24 receptions, 327 yards, 13.6 average, 1 touchdown, and long was 48. No fumbles for Miami. And moving on to Louisville, Jack Plummer, 24, 37, 308 yards, 8.3 average, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 92 point QBR. Louisville rushing, Isaiah Guerrero. I'm butchering that last name, so I do apologize, Louisville Cardinal fans. But he had 15 carries for 93 yards, 6.2 average, 1 touchdown, his long was 26. Jaha Jordan, 9 carries for 33 yards, 3.7 average, 0 touchdowns, his long was 9. Maurice Turner, 3 carries for 14 yards, 4.7 average, 0 touchdowns, his long was 9. Jack Plummer, 5 carries for 11 yards, 2.2 average, 0 touchdowns, his long was 6. Jimmy Callaway, 1 carry for 6 yards, 6.0 average, no touchdowns, his long was 6. Evan Conley, 1 carry for 5 yards, 5 average, 1 touchdown, his long was 5. As a team, 34 carries for 162 yards, 4.8 average, 2 touchdowns, his long was 26. Receiving for Louisville, Kevin Coleman, 2 receptions for 58 yards, 29.0 average, 1 touchdown, so the long was 58. Chris Bell, 4 receptions for 58 yards, 14.5 average, 0 touchdowns, his long was 22. Joey Gatewood, 3 receptions for 51 yards, 17.0 average, no touchdown, long was 22. Zelensky, 5 receptions for 50 yards, 10.0 average, 1 touchdown, his long was 23. Amari Huggins Bruce, 2 receptions for 22 yards, 11.0 average, no touchdown, his long was 18. Jimmy Callaway, 2 receptions for 19 yards, 9.5 average, 0 touchdowns, his long was 15. Maurice Turner, 1 reception for 13 yards, 13 point average, 0 touchdowns, his long was 13. Honestly, guys, I can keep going on and on, but as a team, 24 receptions for 308 yards, 12.8 average, 3 touchdowns, as long as 58. And then moving on to defensive stats here. Let's see here. James Williams for the Miami Hurricanes led the way, 9 total tackles, 6 solo, 0 sacks, 0 tackles for loss, no pass deflections, no touchdowns. Cameron Kitchens, 8 total tackles, 6 solos, 0 sacks, 0 tackles, 0 pass blocks, 0 touchdowns. He did have an interception in this game against Louisville. Francisco Malgo, 7 total tackles, 3 solos, 0 sacks, 0 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection. To Corey Couch, 5 total tackles, 3 solo, 0 sacks, 0 tackles for loss, 0 pass deflections, no touchdowns. Corey Flagg Jr., 5 total tackles, 1 solo, 0 sacks, 1 tackle for loss. Drew Main Jr., 3 total tackles, 1 solo, 0 sacks, 0 tackles for loss. I don't think we had any sacks in this game. No, we did not. So as a team for Miami defensively, 67 total tackles, 33 solo, 0 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection, and no touchdown. Like I said, Cameron Kitchens had the 1 lone interception. For Louisville, Devin Neal had 8 total tackles, 5 solo, 0.5 tackles for loss. Cameron Kelly had 7 total tackles, 4 solo, 0 sacks, 1.5 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection. Jalen Alderman had 6 total tackles, 3 solo, 0 sacks, 0.5 tackles for loss. Quincy Riley, 6 total tackles, 2 solo, no sacks, no tackles for loss, no pass deflections, no touchdown. Mason Rieger, I believe. Again, apologies for butchering that last one. 3 total tackles, 2 solo, 1 sack, 1.5 tackles for loss. Storm Duck, 3 total tackles, 2 solo, 0 sacks, 0 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection. Gillard Firestone, for some of you that may know, former Miami Hurricane, he had 2 tackles for loss. I'm sorry, not 2 tackles for loss, excuse me. 2 total tackles, 2 solo. He did have 1 tackle for loss, though. He had 1 tackle for loss. And again, I could keep going down the list, but as a team for the Louisville Cardinals defense, they had 58 total tackles, 34 solo, 1 sack, 7 tackles for loss, 2 pass deflections. Kick returns, could go with Miami here. Bashard Smith had 2 returns for 45 yards, 22.5 average. The long was 23, no touchdowns. Ray Joseph had 1 return, 12 yards with a long, no touchdowns. As a team, 3 returns for 57 yards, 19.0 average. The long was 23. Punt returns, Bashard Smith had 1 for 5 yards. The average was 5, the long was 5, no touchdowns. Kicking, Andreas Borregales 1-1 on his field goal, 100%. His long was 51. He was 4-on-4 on extra points and total of 7 points. Dylan Joyce had 5 punts for 220 yards, 44.0 average, no touchbacks. 2 inside the 20, his long was 50. For Louisville, Maurice Turner had return for Louisville. Maurice Turner had 1 for 50 yards. The average was 50, the long was 50. Isaac Guerrero, again, apologies for butchering that last name, Had 1 return for 20 yards, 20.0 average as long as 20 as a team. 2 returns for 70 yards, 35.0 average as long as 50, no touchdown. Punt returns for Louisville. Kevin Coleman, 2 returns, 6 yards, 3.0 average as long as 5, no touchdowns. Kicking, Nick Lopez was 1-1 on field goal at 100% as long as 40. Extra point was 1-1, 4 points. Brock Travestead, again, apologies for butchering his last names. He was 0-1 on his field goals. Trends were 0, along with 0. He was 2-2 on extra points. As a team, field goal 1-2, 50 was the percentage, along with 40, 3-3 on extra points, and the total of 6 points for Louisville's punting for Louisville. Brady Hodges had 4 for 170 yards, 44.3 average, no touchbacks, 1 inside the 20, and the long was 51. There you all have it. Those are your team stats and individual stats for the Miami Hurricanes versus Louisville game. Like I said, your final score, 38 Louisville, Miami Hurricanes, 31. And just my quick overall thoughts on the Miami Hurricanes versus Louisville game. Definitely not the way that we wanted to send our seniors out. For somebody that may not know who some of our seniors are, I'll name a couple. It's Corey Couch, Javion Cohen, Chance William. Trying to think who else. There's somebody else that I'm forgetting. Boy, I probably should have not started naming names, but if y'all, those are just to name just a couple. But yeah, definitely not the way that we want to send our seniors out. Officiating for the game was bad yet again, but at the same time, you never want to leave the game in the hands of the official, or officials, I should say. Missed calls, I would say. Jacoby George got mad towards the end. We were at the goal line, couldn't punch it in, to be able to tie the game up, and Jacoby George obviously was frustrated that he didn't get a PI called, and then we ended up getting the ball back late. And obviously, I believe Bashard Smith or Jacoby George ended up slapping a player across his helmet, and that's like the second time that Bashard Smith has done that. I think the last game that he did it in, I think was Florida State, which cost us yardage. Even though, the game was already over by that time, still there was a slim chance to possibly win it. And obviously, or I should say the final play of the game was a Hail Mary pass to Restrepo. Well, actually, it wasn't intended for Restrepo. It was just for anybody who was going to catch it, but it ended up getting tipped in the air. Restrepo caught it, and he was short of the goal line. Prior to that, before the play call to try to get a touchdown to be able to tie the game up, I believe we took a timeout and just kind of wasted a timeout there. I think clock management continues to still be an issue. So, overall, y'all, still have a lot of learning to do and a lot of growing pains to go through. I am proud of this team. This team is making improvements. We see it. We've seen it all year. The offensive line is, improved. Our defense has gotten better, even though, we had a very hard time trying to stop Louisville's running game, and we could not stop their tight ends. Go figure, considering that we haven't used our tight ends at all. So, yeah. But honestly, TBD, can't really blame this game on him. He had a pretty good game. He had no turnovers in the game, so I can't put all the blame on TBD. Or I can't even put any blame on TBD for the game against Louisville, because he actually did a pretty good job. But then again, Louisville was playing man. They weren't playing zone. And I think we all know, if you're a Miami Hurricanes fan, TBD has a hard time trying to read zone. And, if he does, and this is me just talking ahead in the future here, if he does decide to stay for the Canes for one more year, he's got to learn how to read zone. That's just my personal opinion. But anyways, guys and gals, I've been ranting, so I'm going to end it off here. But thumbs up if you liked the video. Thumbs down if you didn't. You're not hurting my feelings. Hit the bell for notifications. hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed. And yeah, Boston College, 12 o'clock p.m. It's going to be a kickoff on ABC. This will be at Alumni Field. And hoping the Miami Hurricanes can finish out the regular season strong. And yeah, one last time, the Louisville Cardinals get the dub over the Miami Hurricanes, 38-31. The Louisville Cardinals will be competing in the ACC Championship against the Florida State Seminoles, while the Miami Hurricanes look to finish out the regular season strong and beat Boston College to prove 7-5 overall and 3-5 in ACC play. And then, obviously, as many as you know, we'll wait and see what bowl game we get for the Miami Hurricanes. And yeah, that's about it, y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.